So you're thinking about selling your house. That's fantastic. Or is it? Look, reality is I'm not sure what your circumstances are, but you do. And whether you're being relocated because you got a new job, or because changing MOS, or maybe now feels like the right time to do it, or maybe there's dire circumstances and you just have to sell the house. That's fine. There are questions that you should ask, and then you should remember what those answers are so that you feel empowered and in control, and you can remember why you're deciding to sell your house. In this video, I'm going to guide you through the process and ask you some questions that are going to help you get answers so that you feel empowered and you've got enough information to make the best decision for you. After all, you deserve that, don't you think? I know I certainly do. Stick around. We're going to get after it right now. My name is Tom Catlin with the Best Texas Houses Group at Keller Williams Realty. If you want to be among the very first to know what's going on in the area, whether it's information about selling or buying, or information about communities, make sure you click that subscribe button or click the bell so that you're notified and you're among the very first to know. Today we're talking about getting your house sold and what the best course of action is for you. Let's start with the end in mind. Of course, everybody wants to get their house sold quickly. They want to get it sold for the most money possible, and they want it to go smoothly, right? Well, we all want that. Enter reality. HGTV is a blast to watch, and it's a lot of fun. However, it's not a great source for you. Here's an idea. Go see some houses. Look, right now I'm standing in a David Weekley home. It's a great model home, and you want to know what the competition is, right? I'm telling you, you've got to get out there and see it. What do the floors look like? How are the colors of the walls? Is it consistent, persistent? As I look around at this house right here, what I'm noticing is there's not a lot of personal pictures. And I understand it's your house, it's your home, but now that you're thinking about transitioning into getting your house sold, the reality is you need to make it something that will appeal to more people. Not your best friend, but to people in general. You want to have the most interest so you have the best opportunity to get your house sold for top dollar. Other things that I notice when I'm looking around is continuity of color. Lots of things match. All of the doorknobs, the hinges, the fixtures that are hanging from the walls, the lights are all in the same general color, so that matches. The flooring is consistent. They're all going in they're all going in the same direction, which is a big selling point. I've actually sold houses where the flooring was going north and south, and then northeast and southwest, and it didn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people. My encouragement to you, no matter what the circumstance is when you're wanting to sell your house, is to simply do your very best to present the best product. Whether you're looking to move because you have to get it sold because you're being relocated, or because you're going to go be closer to or maybe further away from your friends and neighbors, whatever the reason is, even if you have to get it sold because maybe you're going to be foreclosed on, there's still an opportunity for you to make money and come out of this much better than the way you started. Now that you've looked at model homes to get an idea of how you should decorate your home, you need to go and look at other houses in the neighborhood, in the town that you live in. Comparing a one-story to a two-story. Are all bedrooms upstairs? Is it a three-car garage? I know that's a lot of things to compare with, but you need to know your competition, because otherwise you're just wanting to sell your house for a price that you're trying to establish without real knowledge. Enter the real estate agent. We can help you with that. Whether you see them in person or virtually, we can help you with that and help you see the consistencies and the inconsistencies and help you understand how your house will stand out among the other houses. The next thing that I want you to consider is, who are you appealing to? Art district aside, your uniqueness, your artsiness is not going to appeal to as many people as it should. And since your efforts are centered around getting the house sold and appealing to the most people, you need to neutralize. You may have a red wall here, a yellow wall there, a green wall, whatever the colors are. Neutral is natural, and natural sells. Keep that in mind and stand out because there's no need for the next buyer to make changes to the house that they're going to make their home. Have you forgotten to perform regular maintenance? Crossing your fingers, after all, is not a strategy. Avoiding something may have been a strategy so you can get somebody else to do it. But remember, with the idea that you want to sell your house for the most money possible, when it comes down to it, you really need to know what's going on. In the state of Texas, you're required to provide a seller disclosure notice to the buyer. Whether you've hired somebody or not, you're required to provide that. And it's a reflection of your knowledge of the house. And more than likely, the buyer is going to go ahead and hire a licensed home inspector in the state of Texas, and they're going to point out the things, not only the things that are defective, but also those things that don't meet current standards. What I'm saying to you is, camouflage is not likely to work in your favor, and ultimately it's going to cost you money. Money that you don't want to give to somebody else. So let's not stick our heads, let's try that again. So let's not stick our heads in the sand. Let's be informed and put our best foot forward, or our best foot forward. First impressions are a big deal. You only have one opportunity to make a first impression. How does the yard look? How does the exterior look? Just know that even though you're working with an agent and the plan is when somebody's coming over that you're going to clean stuff up, if they come through and they see all kinds of stuff in the yard or holes in the yard, you don't have any control over that unless you're in a very tightly guarded, gated community. So make sure before you put it on the market, everything is clean, crisp, and clear, and ready for people to see in the best possible light. I also want you to keep this in mind, that fear is a condition, it's not a strategy. And so as you are defining things, as you're looking at things with a more realistic eye, you are able to have better and more realistic expectations. Hoping to sell your house for $1 million and having it a value of actually $600,000 may be unfortunate, but at least you know. Hey, if you jumped the gun and you already have spoken to an agent, that's all right. Don't worry about it. This video is here to help you be informed. It's here to help you ask the right questions so that you can make the best decision possible for getting your house sold. And that's my concern for you. Let's talk about finding the right agent for you. I'm laughing right now because literally a while ago I was looking on Facebook, and it was an agent-to-agent Facebook page, and somebody posted, I'm quoting this, "Who can give me a contractor recommendation for interior remodels that you give clients? Kitchen, bathrooms, and possibly moving walls." I mean, what can go wrong with that? Sure, you're probably going to do your homework, but when it comes to who has an agent that I would recommend, or that they would recommend, what I commonly see is people just taking the first one that comes along and going with them. Do your homework, ask questions, and be informed. How do you feel when you're interacting with this agent? That's what's important. Then make the decision. Don't just jump in and go with the first person that comes along, because otherwise you may end up having a kitchen where the bathroom was. The agent that you plan to hire is supposed to be your fiduciary. In the state of Texas, by law, they are your fiduciary, but how does it feel when you speak with them? Do they really have your interests in mind? Here are some questions that you might want to ask them and see how they answer before you just sign on the line to sell one of your biggest investments. Are they asking questions, and when you provide an answer, are they then asking the question behind the question and maybe beyond that, almost to the point of annoyance, but so that suddenly you clearly understand that in fact they're listening to you? You do want that, don't you? When I call and I say, "Hey, I'm about to come over, but before I do, here's some questions. What's your favorite room in the house?" "I like the kitchen." "Oh, okay, I could just go with that, but what is it about the kitchen that you like?" "I understand that you like the kitchen. How would you rank that on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best?" "Oh, it's a 7. A 7, what would need to be changed before it would be a 10? What's your least favorite room about the house, and why is that?" And you can see how all of these questions might go. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank your house? Asking those questions may seem a little overbearing, but the reality is, in getting informed, they're able to see what your position is on the house. And when they come to see the house, when I come to see your house, I can come through and I say, man, this kitchen isn't a 7, it's a 10 to be. You'll have talking points, you'll have perspective from each other, and you'll know where both of you are coming from. Is the agent expressing a desire to be collaborative? Are they asking questions like, I'd like to come over, and when I do, I want to see the house through the eyes of a buyer. After all, I mean, you're not going to be there when buyers are coming through. I don't need to see what your memories are. I want to see what I actually see and what else other agents might see and what buyers might see. Is there something minor like a cobweb in the corner? Is there something major like the doors don't open and close? Hey, when we meet to discuss getting your house on the market, in addition to looking through the house through the eyes of a buyer, I'm wondering, where are you hoping to price your house? That way I have perspective. If you want to sell your house for $700,000 and the most expensive house in that subdivision was $500,000, we may have to have a reality-based question. On the other, or not question, reality-based conversation. On the other hand, if you're wanting $700,000, won't you be pleased when I say it's, in my opinion, the value might be $800,000? It's give and take, and it's making a decision together. Here are some warning signs. Let's say you've had a phone conversation with an agent, and they express an urgency to come over right now, while you've said you want to see them midweek next week. They've given you a price without you giving them information. Sure, they might know what's sold in the area, but without actually seeing your house, an opinion of value is really kind of irresponsible guesswork. We can give you a range based on our experience, but until we actually see it, we're not going to be able to give you an informed decision. But let me ask you a question. What have you experienced when you've sold a home? What have you heard that I need to know about so I can warn other people? I'd love to hear from you and get comments from you. So make sure you post something on this video so I can add that and arm people that are looking to sell their house so that they can be informed and ready when the wrong agent comes along. Hey, when it comes to getting your house sold, let's face it, the most important strategy is actually pricing. And keep this in mind because Texas is a non-disclosure state. You may go and look at the appraisal district and rely on that, and that might be a good starting point. You might go look at other online opportunities and look at something that rhymes with guesstimate, and that's exactly what it is. It's a guesstimate because they don't necessarily know what your house sold for or other similar houses sold for. So establishing a price may serve you with them, but it may not serve you, and that of course is my concern. Remember, a licensed real estate agent in the state of Texas is your fiduciary, and we are by law required to have your interests come first before ours. And one more thing about pricing. According to the National Association of Realtors, this is just a general guideline, but 10 days and no showings might mean it's overpriced, or 10 showings and no offers might mean it's overpriced. There are certain variables and there's differences when it comes to price point, but keep those in mind so that since your goal is selling it quickly and for the best price possible, and listening to what viewership is telling you, you can make a decision on changing the price and actually getting the house sold. Now that you have an understanding of perspective and placement, how your house compares to other houses on the market, both new construction and others in the neighborhood, playing the percentages, how to appeal to the most number of people versus keeping the uniqueness of the house, prospecting for perfection, what to listen for when interviewing agents, it's time to set a price. You heard the neighbors sold their house for $975. You heard the average sold price per square foot is $325. But what's the reality? And what tactic do you want to pursue? Here's a simple rule though. Price it to sell. Bam! Mind blown, right? I mean, come on, who wouldn't think of that? You'd be surprised, a lot of people. There may be different motivations. You may need to get that house sold quickly, you may not. And it's very common for people to say, well, let's price it here because I know they're going to offer less. That doesn't have to be the case. As an example, when you price your house slightly below market value, I know that kind of sounds a little nerve-wracking, you may end up getting multiple offers. And just because somebody offers you a price does not mean you have to accept it. However, what I want you to keep in mind is that when you're considering pricing strategy, you have a good conversation with your agent. Here's a simple rule: price it to sell. Bam! Mind blown, right? I mean, that doesn't really mean a lot, but your motivation behind selling it may. If you've got to get the house sold quickly for whatever reason, you need to price it close to market. So many people actually price their house above market with the idea that, well, I plan on taking less, but I don't want to start there. The rule is, there is no rule when it comes to getting an offer, but you need to make sure you have a conversation with your agent and understand what you're going to do based on certain factors. And keep this in mind. In an unstable market, you might be chasing the market down. So if you start too high, your house may be the one that people compare and go buy the neighboring house because their house is priced to sell, which is the strategy we want to pursue. Hey, with so many variables, we could take a lot more time and consider some other questions, but this is a good general guideline. I get it. You may have more questions. You may need more answers, but ask them. And certainly feel free to consult with Google or other websites. But when you want to be sure, you want to know that you know that you know, speak with some agents, interview some agents, make the decision that is best for you, that suits you, and make sure that the agents you're working with or the agent you choose is going to listen and communicate. Feel free to contact us. Contact information is listed below. The most effective way to reach me is to call or send a text, and you're certainly welcome to send an email. With so many variables, we've merely scratched the surface when it comes to scratch. The next thing Hey, now that you have an understanding of how to, you're fine, keep going. Prospecting for prospection, and put our best foot forward, or our best foot forward. Price your house to sell. Mind blown, right? Woo! Who comes up with this stuff? This guy.